Hello everybody and welcome to this video. If you would notice, this is a voiceover because it's loud. It's forever loud here. But anywho, let's see. What do I want to talk about today? Obviously, I am doing a pour. I'm doing it a little bit differently. As you guys may know, I've been kind of playing with different techniques and different effects with my paints. And so this time, I was thinking about how I did the Bryce Hudson project and I taped over an acrylic pour that I did and how wonderful it seemed to turn out. But taping over acrylic pours where you use pour oil because you want those beautiful cells, it's not fun. It's not easy. So what I did this time, I taped over my black background. It is completely like matte black. The lighting is weird. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and let the video play right here, and so you guys can kind of see the process that I used. So for the colors that I used yellow, green. I mixed my purples, like a purple iris, and then the regular violet Blake acrylic that I used. I did that because I know that acrylic dries darker than you need it to most of the time. So I went on and did that. And from past experiences, I know that, pouring over tape, it often does not work just because of, liquids and adhesives, they kind of clash with one another. So I was totally expecting some of the paint to come underneath the tape, and that was fine with me because I kind of wanted to do something that wasn't so clean. Like, I did a clean pour. As you can see here, I started off doing a clean pour and just layered those colors on top of one another. And I thought that would be something cool to do because I've been doing dirty pours lately and it's been so long since I've actually done a clean pour. So I'm like, why not? So yeah, as far as the inspiration behind the colors, I saw something. It wasn't art related, but I saw something and it had these 4 colors in it, and I was just taken aback, and I'm like, you know what, I want to do a pour with that. And so again, as the days have gone by, I've been more inspired to do something a little different with my paint. Now here you guys are going to get a little bit of back canvas, but you know me. Just watch that paint roll. And what I really liked here is that some of my paint had acrylic pour oil in it and then some of it did not, so you had this nice on and off mixing of cells, which is cool. I think towards the end the green actually ended up dominating most of my colors. I probably didn't have as much blue and yellow, but that was okay. And then like green and purple were my 2 colors that I had the most of, so it just made it work. I love paint. I love paint. So anyway, back to changing it up. Let me see, this past week was portfolio day, which was Monday, and I've been exhausted all week. So again, this is why this is one of those videos where I'm kind of voice recording. I know when I first recorded this video a little earlier this week, you could hear it in my voice that I was just like suffering. But it was a great opportunity for me. I really enjoyed being able to talk to so many different art schools from around the country. It was really amazing too to me just to like hear someone's perspective who wasn't from my, what do I want to call that, my circle. So the people who always see my work, it's like, while they remove bias, it's also nice to have a complete stranger to come look at your artwork. And I must say, that day was completely exhausting. Like, I'm friendly, obviously, and I'm nice, and I'm also an introvert, so I have a switch that turns off eventually, and that day was just like 12 hours of constant kindness and charisma, and ah. I was so tired all week. I was so off all week. It's been a mess, but it was a good mess in a good way. It was a positive experience, and I'm really glad I stuck around for the opportunity. I had places from Maine and from California, so I'm like, wow, people on both sides of the country are just like interested in my work, which is really interesting. I got my portfolio approved for like Chicago, and that was cool too. I don't know. I have so many options. So many options. But the fun thing is I got some insight. So like I know acrylic pour to me acrylic pours they're fun, they're easy, and they're basic, and that's something that I know that fine artists are like, yeah, it's just a pour, but what else can you add to it? So things that I actually like did over, like my Bryce Hudson project, and I did a couple of figure drawing studies in which I incorporated acrylic pours and whatnots in or around, and people are more drawn to those than like your regular acrylic pours, I guess because they're really decorative. But another thing that they liked about it was the fact that most of my acrylic pours aren't that fun, bright, blinding, decorative. They don't follow that color scheme, and I think that's reflective of my personality a little bit. I'm extra, but I'm muted at the same time. So that was really nice to hear, and I'm glad that it's a shared opinion. So for the next, I don't know, several weeks, I might be doing different things or practicing different concepts with my acrylic pours, which will be totally fun. As you guys can see, my paint is not covering all of the black background, and that is completely on purpose. Again, all these bright, fun, poppy colors, and even as this thing came to dry, it was still bright. So I'm really glad that I left so much of the background exposed so that the color isn't overwhelming. Alright, so as this transitions over, you can see that I have changed the key. Like my camera has settings, and I have this really bright setting called high key, which I use it a lot because my lighting isn't the best, and as far as like recording stuff, I need as much help as I can get. So I tend to keep it in high key, but with like certain situations with paint and whatnot, my colors and the actual cells and stuff tend to not show up as well as I intend for them to. So I just went on and switched those gears for you guys so you can kind of see some of the cells that are popping up, and these are absolutely beautiful. And right here I was standing there and I was contemplating, I'm like, maybe I'll just like use an X-Acto knife and strip away the tape and just leave the rest of it down. But no, this paint is mostly craft paint. I did use, like I said, some of that acrylic in the purple, so it's bound to dry very flat, and it did dry very flat, so I had to peel up the tape, and it was just but I did manage to use all of my pigment for a change, my god. So that was an accomplishment in itself. And as you can see, I have been furiously rotating this canvas in different ways and tilting it and moving it, spraying it down with some of my blaster silicone, which is actually for like garages and stuff, I guess, to waterproof them, whatever. But it works really good. As you can see, all those cells, all those little cells popping up, and it looks really great, in my opinion. In my opinion, it matters so much. I'm sorry that I sound like I'm probably spacing out at this point. It's really hard to record stuff when people are like almost blatantly being loud in your background, or unnecessarily loud in your background. It's like so anyway, I liked how this looked because it was kind of drippy. It's kind of like, it makes me think about the surrealist art movement, you know. I don't know if you guys know much about it, but it was basically this period of time where artists were like, they were putting so much stress on themselves to cause like hallucinations and just paint what they were basically hallucinating. Yeah, it was like a drug trip from If you know Salvador Dali's work, you get what I'm saying. But anyway, so this is what that puts me in the mind of. And you know, a lot of times with pours, people, you know, they make them and they're all prim and proper and stuff. But yeah, so at this point in the video, wow, I've been talking for 11 minutes, 10 minutes, wow. Anyway, at this point in the video, I had already, like, my curiosity had peaked and I kind of peeled back some of the tape, and I was already working on removing the tape. And I'm like, oh yeah, Infiniti, you might want to have this for the end of your content. So here is just where I am peeling up all this tape. The paint, questionably, is dry. So you know, it might have been kind of wet, but it wasn't wet enough to move around. And I didn't get anything on my hands for a change, which was exciting in itself to me. But I was just really taken aback by the effect of these strips being peeled back and so much of my pigment being lifted away from my canvas. No, I did not save the tape. The tape is gone. It is garbage. But anywho, so again, I liked the distressed, kind of splotchy, unclean look of the like paint coming under the tape, and you can definitely tell where these areas are. I think it adds to the piece. It could be read either way, but you know, in my opinion, I like this. And so now I have this end result that is kind of bold, but it's kind of one of those chill pieces. I think I have a few images. Let me put those up. Here it is. So yeah, here it is, the end result of this pour. I hope you guys enjoyed, I guess, this little conversation time slash video. I know I normally don't talk this long, or I break it up or whatever. But anywho, if you enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to ring that little notification bell so you don't miss out on my new content that I post every week. If you have suggestions for color combos, go ahead and drop something either in the comments or use the Google form that I have in my description box. Or if you have any other ideas, just let me know. Don't forget to check out my other social media, and until next time, guys, I'm going to be making art. Bye.